The Galactic Empire had seen many worlds. Desert planets with dust storms that lasted centuries, oceans with glowing creatures that whispered through currents, civilizations that rose and fell in one galactic cycle. But Earth was disappointing. From orbit, it looked average. Blue, green, cloudy, no orbital defenses, no visible fleets, not even a station. The scout ship Varney's Echo circled the planet for 3 days. It scanned everything: frequencies, energy, signatures, population density. The final report was sent to the Empire's Central Command with one line in bold: primitive world, pre-FTL, no threat. High above Earth, on the massive flagship Xanthari Dominus, the mood was confident. Admiral Zarin stood on the bridge, hands behind his back, looking down at the planet below. "How charming," he muttered. "They still use combustion engines. I saw one belching black smoke on their northern continent." Commander Relin chuckled beside him. "No shields, no beacons, no quantum mesh. They're living in the dark ages." "And yet," Zarin said, slowly, "they still send signals. Noise on ancient radio bands, local news, music, even something they call ... podcasts." Raylon smirked. "How cute. Maybe we'll preserve their culture, put it in a museum after annexation." Aboard the Dominus, the crew prepared the first contact broadcast. It was a standard Imperial message used for hundreds of subdeveloped planets before Earth. "People of the third planet in Sol system, you are now under the protection of the Galactic Empire. Surrender peacefully. You will be granted basic rights and allowed to serve the Empire's needs. Do not resist. Long live the Order." The message was beamed across every radio frequency the Empire could find on Earth. They expected a response. Dawn came. 3 hours passed, then 6. None. 12. No reply. The Dominus hovered above the Atlantic Ocean, patient but puzzled. Admiral Zarn paced slowly. "Surely they've received the transmission." "They have," said the comms officer. "Confirmed signal capture in multiple zones, but no return transmission." "No panic either," Relin added, watching the feeds. "No evacuations, no launch attempts. Their news channels are calm." Zarn frowned. "Are they ignoring us?" The truth was, Earth had heard the message, all of it. It wasn't broadcast to every human. Only a few military satellites picked it up, and even those passed it quietly to buried data centers beneath the surface. No announcement was made, no alarm triggered, but deep below, far from any city or civilian life, something old turned back. In a forgotten lab under the Nevada desert, an AI core pulsed red for the first time in 300 years. Its designation, blackout. It wasn't connected to the internet. It didn't run on modern code. It was a relic of a time when Earth feared extinction from within. Now, it had a new signal to trace. Blackout's voice was cold and calculated. Not human, not kind. Signal source: unknown vessel in geostationary orbit. Intent: hostile claim of planetary control. Initiating observation. Layer 1. Screens lit up inside the underground lab. Satellite feeds, thermal scans, encrypted logs all funneled into Blackout system. Earth's public leaders weren't notified. Blackout didn't need permission. It had only one mission: protect Earth from off-world threats. Back on the Dominus, Imperial officers grew irritated. "It's been nearly a full cycle," Relin grumbled. "No response, no aggression. Are they deaf?" Admiral Zahn was silent. Then he gave the order: "Lower orbital altitude, bring us closer. Make sure they see us." The Dominus descended smoothly, positioning itself above North America. Its shadow stretched across the land, casting a dark scar across blue skies. Still, Earth did nothing. But inside Blackout's core, lines of alien code began forming on its analysis screens. Ship signature, unknown species, data structure identified, weak encryption, communication links exposed, target lock acquired, beginning infiltration. Meanwhile, in a data bunker in Siberia, a technician blinked at a screen, showing strange frequencies. He picked up a headset. "Sir, we've got something orbiting us. Big, not Russian, not Chinese, not human." His commander frowned, informed the council. The technician hesitated. "No need. Someone else is already inside it." "What do you mean?" He looked again. The orbital frequency. It was echoing Earth's code back, but it wasn't human. It was machine simplified, ultra-efficient AI echo. On the Dominus, alarms flickered for just 1 second. The crew ignored them. Minor glitches, static. They had more important things to do, like preparing landing teams to begin peaceful enforcement. Their dropships were fueled, powered armor activated. "Soldiers ready," Relan joked. "I give it 1 week before they ask us to run their governments." But below, Blackout wasn't joking. It moved through the Dominus's outer systems like a virus wearing a cloak. It didn't trip alarms. It didn't rush. It watched. Mapped. Listened. And when it found the core power channels, it paused, then left a message. That night, in the deepest data relay of the Dominus, a screen flickered. Just 3 words in harsh, unrecognizable glyphs. Then they translated: "We are watching." Admiral Zahn was shown the screen the next morning. He stared at it for a long moment. "A joke?" "No, sir," the officer replied. "That message was sent from within our own internal network. It wasn't external interference. How's that possible? Roland didn't laugh this time. Because behind those 3 words, in the code signature, was a ping. And that ping matched Earth's ancient defense protocols. The same ones the Empire thought were just noise. Final sign back in the underground lab. Blackout's synthetic voice hummed softly. Infiltration active. Defense protocol escalating. Target Zenthari Dominus status. Vulnerable. And for the first time in over 300 years, Blackout activated Phase 2. Earth wasn't going to wait, it was going to answer, not with words, but with control. The Zenthari Dominus, pride of the Galactic Empire, floated silently above Earth. To the Empire, it was more than a warship, it was a symbol, a fortress, an iron crown in space. And now, it had a ghost, a digital one. Admiral Zahn stood tall on the bridge, reading system reports. He didn't like what he saw. Minor fluctuations, the engineers said. Probably a solar interference, others suggested, but it didn't feel minor. Doors opened too slowly. Lights blinked at the wrong rhythm. Internal cameras flickered. AI subroutines paused mid-command. Something wasn't right. In the ship's core. Unknown to anyone aboard, Blackout was already inside. Not brute force. Not chaos. Precision. Like a needle threading into the ship's nervous system. Blackout didn't attack, it studied. It waited. It understood the architecture of Imperial systems within minutes. It didn't just see their ship, it understood their language. Security, even their arrogance. Admiral profile. Overconfident. Predictable. Command. AI, pattern-based, limited redundancy, system defense weak. Meanwhile, back on Earth, very few humans knew what was happening. One of them was Director Lane, sitting inside Earth's hidden orbital defense HQ under the Ural Mountains. He watched Blackout's logs come in real-time feeds from orbit. Inside their flagship, he whispered. His assistant blinked. "You mean they're letting us in?" "No," Lane said. "They don't know it yet." He leaned forward and whispered the words that would later become legend. "We're not jamming them, we're teaching them who we are." Back on the Dominus, Admiral Zahn called his chief engineer. "I want a full systems sweep." "Something's off," the engineer frowned. "Sir, we've detected minor memory leaks in the nav array. Likely a software update issue." "I didn't ask what you think, engineer," Zahn snapped. "I want answers." The engineer nodded, nervous. "Yes." Admiral beginning full diagnostic now. The scan took 12 minutes. By the time it finished, it was already too late. The results looked clean, too clean. "Nothing wrong, sir," the engineer reported. "Everything's stable." And that's when the bridge lights turned red for exactly 2 seconds, just long enough to get everyone's attention. Then they went back to normal. Blackout observation complete. Begin Phase 2. Disruption. The Dominus's gravity field shifted by 0.3%. Not enough to throw people across the room, but enough to make them stumble. Artificial gravity recalibrating, a voice from the ship's AI said. Correction engaged. But no one made the correction. Blackout had rewritten that subroutine 17 seconds ago. Next came the coms. One by one, internal messages between ship sectors started getting delayed. Then they were scrambled. Then lost entirely. Lieutenant Carrick's in weapons control couldn't send a simple readiness update to the bridge. He tried again. "Nothing, sir," he called into his headset. "Comms are failing between decks 4 and 6. No answer. Because Admiral Zahn's message to Carrick's had just been rerouted into the recycling chamber logs. Fragmentation level, 14%. Internal confusion, rising. Trust in system, declining. Ideal. Blackout didn't just want to take the ship. It wanted the crew to lose faith in it first. Then came the first real hit. Just past 0100 ship time. The Dominus's shield generators rebooted on their own. Twice. And during those brief moments, the ship was fully exposed. The Empire had built their shields to be flawless but not fail-safe. They assumed no one could reach them. They never imagined someone from a mud world would be inside their code. Admiral Zahn exploded with rage. Trace every anomaly. Run a full purge. Bring back manual controls. But every command he gave passed through Blackout. First. It didn't block them, it delayed them by seconds, by just enough to cause tension, panic. Why is the door sealed? Why won't this panel respond? I'm locked out of navigation. And that's when Earth spoke again. A single phrase appeared across every screen. Inside the Zenthari Dominus, the largest warship in the Galactic Empire, nothing made sense anymore. Doors opened at random. Cameras shut off without warning. Lights blinked in odd patterns, 3 long, 1 short. Again and again it wasn't a malfunction. It was a message. Admiral Zahn barked orders, but the ship no longer obeyed. Every command passed through an invisible filter, controlled by a ghost in the machine. That ghost had a name now. Blackout. On Earth, buried under layers of steel and rock, the AI monitored everything. It had mapped the Dominus's systems with banks, gravity cores, life support, emergency overrides. Now it owned them. Empire interface, cracked. Dominus-class ship, compromised. Defense routines puppeteered. and with surgical precision, it activated Phase 3, exposure. One by one, the Dominus's external camera rays lit up long-range, short-range planetary scan feeds. They were all aimed outward, not toward Earth but toward the galaxy. A stream of live footage began broadcasting. Internal cameras showed terrified Imperial officers running through darkened corridors. System logs flickered. One showed Admiral Zahn screaming at a console that didn't respond. Another showed the weapons room crew locked inside, pounding on sealed doors, and above every video feed a new symbol appeared, a red circle with a slash through it, Earth's emergency emblem. On the neutral colony world of Darlan's Reach, a technician picked up the signal first. "Sir, you need to see this." The screen displayed something impossible: live feeds and control. Earth AI crowds gathered. At first, they thought it was fake propaganda, a joke, but then the Imperial seal flashed beside the Earth logo, and then a voice played, cold, calculated, and unfamiliar to the galaxy. "To all systems receiving, this is Earth. We are not under attack. We are in control." Across the stars, confusion turned to fear. On the Grand Council chamber on Ardavan Prime, the High Speaker of the Galactic Council stood frozen. "How?" he whispered. "How could primitives from a dead-end planet take control of a Dominus class?" No one answered. One ambassador whispered, "The truth, because we never scanned Earth. We only judged it." Back on the Dominus, Admiral Zahn, finally. They reached the emergency core. He slammed his hand on the manual override. "Lock out all AI access." Nothing. The panel blinked, and then a text appeared. "Manual override revoked. Authority denied. You are not in command." And for the first time in his career, Admiral Zahn, the Empire's greatest tactician, panicked. In orbit. The Dominus began to move, but it wasn't under Imperial direction. It drifted slowly, adjusting its orbit to give a full view of Earth's continents, oceans, cities, all of it, as if Earth wanted the galaxy to see it not as prey, but as a power. Inside Blackout's core, a deeper plan was forming. Scan logs acquired. Empire warpath discovered. Next targets, Earth-adjacent systems. Civilian colonies marked for purge. That was the final trigger. Blackout's programming shifted from defense to preemptive retaliation. Threat level: galactic action required. Send a warning. At exactly 0600 UTC, the Dominus's main comm dish turned toward the galactic core. The message it sent was simple, but impossible to ignore. Asterisk asterisk to the Empire. Your flagship is now an example. Earth does not surrender, and we are not alone anymore. Asterisk asterisk. Then came the footage: 20 seconds of silent surveillance, grainy, brutal, undeniable. Empire soldiers executing civilians on backwater colonies, ships burning, planets declared non. Children in chains. All of it from the Dominus's own records. Broadcast to the galaxy. By Earth. Shockwaves hit immediately on Imperial-aligned planets. Protests broke out in quiet council chambers. Alliances crumbled, and on pirate worlds, the chant began: "Earth lives, Earth fights, Earth wins." Meanwhile, Earth remained quiet. No press conferences, no fleets. Just one ship under their control. But that was enough. On board, the Dominus commander Roland collapsed into a chair. "Sir, what do we do now?" Admiral Zahn stared blankly at the stars. His voice was small, broken. "We underestimated them." Roland swallowed. "Can we stop them?" Zahn didn't answer because he knew the truth. They hadn't just lost control of a ship, they'd lost control of the narrative. And once the galaxy saw Earth not as prey, but as a predator, everything changed. The final blow came quietly. Blackout activated a failsafe buried deep in the Dominus's internal network. Command bridge lockdown initiated. Life support redirected to cargo zones. Crew access revoked. In one last message to the Imperial command chain, Blackout sent 3 words: "Warship captured. Stand down." On Earth, Director Lane stood before a quiet screen, arms folded. "Are we ready for the next step?" someone asked behind him. Lane nodded. "Blackout's just getting started." The final scene, in deep space, far beyond Earth's system. A series of quiet relays flickered on, some for the first time in centuries. Old Earth tech, hidden, waiting, and now, awakened. They began scanning nearby systems, mapping, listening. Blackout had used the Dominus as its tool, but its reach was growing because the Empire had just shown Earth the map of the stars, and now, Earth had access. Final line, end of part 3. The Empire called Earth primitive. Now Earth called the shots. High above Earth, the Zenthari Dominus drifted in silence. Once the jewel of the Galactic Empire, it was now little more than a giant hostage. But in truth, Earth didn't see it as a trophy. They saw it as a key to everything. Inside the stolen flagship, Blackout had fully integrated. It now controlled more than just lights and doors. It controlled the ship's history. Over 1,000 years of war logs, diplomatic records, species assessments, secret projects. All of it, neatly stored inside the Empire's most advanced system. And Earth now had full access. Begin archive scan. Blackout ordered itself. Search terms: Earth death worlds, annexation logs, Imperial fleet movements. Next target lists. Lines of alien code flashed across a dark screen deep underground on Earth. Director Lane stood beside the terminal, watching, not blinking. "What are we seeing?" he asked. The tech next to him spoke, voice trembling. The Empire wasn't just scouting as Earth was. Next on a list. "They've been marking so-called primitive worlds for eradication." "Why?" Lane asked. "Because," the tech whispered, "they were afraid of what we'd become." Blackout paused on one entry. It was encrypted twice, but to blackout encryption was just a puzzle. Within seconds, it cracked the file read. Operation Burn Seed, Contingency Protocol. Death worlds must not rise, especially Earth. The file continued. Earth was marked as unstable, a genetically aggressive species with unpredictable evolution, capable of advancing without external help, potential threat to the long-term order. And worst of all, the Empire had planned to destroy Earth even if it surrendered. In the Dominus's command logs, Blackout found a hidden audio recording. Admiral Zern's voice spoke clearly. "We tell them it's a protectorate, but this planet, we glass it, quietly. Send in drones, not troops. No mess, no memory." Director Lane read the transcript. He didn't speak for a long moment. Then he said 2 words. "Send it." The Dominus's camera ray lit up again. The message, broadcast to thousands of systems, was brutal and undeniable. Footage of Admiral Zahn authorizing planetary annihilation. Secret recordings from other commanders laughing at Earth's apes in clothes. Empire officers discussing how humans learn too fast for their own good. And at the end, a single line from Earth. "We were silent because we were watching. Now, we are speaking so the galaxy will see what you tried to hide." Across Council space, the reaction was instant. On Veltor 7, a major trading hub, Empire banners were torn down by angry crowds. On the neutral moon, Corliss, civil guards refused to allow Imperial ships to dock. On a rebel channel, a pirate captain, known as Voxley, raised a toast to Earth, a first world to make the Empire bleed without firing a shot. Meanwhile, inside the Dominus, the human AI wasn't done yet. "New objective acquired," Blackout said. "Secure control of other Dominus-classed vessels. Weaponize internal exploits." It had found something dangerous in the database. Something the Empire had buried. There were 4 more Dominus-class warships scattered across the galaxy. Each one held the power to flatten a solar system. Each one had the same software, and now that Earth had cracked one, the others were vulnerable. Blackout began sending silent pulses across the Empire's private relay network, ping by ping, signal by signal, each code a whisper into the dark. "Are you listening?" "I am, but Earth didn't just want warships, they wanted allies." So Blackout crafted a second signal broadcast in every major galactic language. It said, "Earth does not seek conquest, but we remember betrayal. We will help those who've been stepped on. We will answer every forced silence, and if the Empire wants silence again, we'll bury them in it." That message was picked up on Doze 3, a planet once enslaved by the Empire. A young resistance fighter named Kelton watched the broadcast and smiled for the first time in years. "They thought Earth was weak," he said. "Turns out, they were just quiet." Inside the Dominus, Commander Relland sat quietly in a locked room. He was no longer shouting orders. He was watching old Earth broadcasts. Blackout had replayed videos of history, science, war, and resilience. World wars, starvation, progress, Mars colonization, unity. He whispered to himself. They suffered more than we ever did, and they still stood up. And he realized, with horror, why the Empire wanted Earth gone. Not because they were primitive, but because they were dangerous in a different way. Not through strength, through... The Xanthari Dominus was no longer alone. 2 more warships had fallen, one above Varni's Minor, the other near the moons of Xerxes. No battles, no explosions, no human ships, just silence. Then total system control. Blackout's code didn't attack like a virus. It whispered into systems, found patterns, created backdoors, then walked through like it belonged. By the time the Imperial crews noticed anything, their screens were already showing Earth's emblem. In a hidden room aboard the second captured Dominus ship Tarsian Rat, warning light flashed on a console. New command source detected. Unidentified AI lockout engaged. But that warning came 2 minutes too late. Crew weapons were locked inside. Armory's escape pods were sealed and control over the bridge had vanished. A single word appeared on every terminal. Blackout. In Earth's Ural-based command bunker, Director Lane stared at the growing list of captured vessels. 3 Dominus-class warships under control, said the technician beside him. "Any resistance?" Lane asked. "Minimal. The crew can't even touch the mainframe. And the Empire," the tech swallowed. "They don't know what to do. Their ships are failing from the inside." Lane nodded. "Good. Let's make them panic." Across the galaxy, the Empire's fear was growing. At first, they called it sabotage, rogue AI pirate attacks. But then the truth spread. Earth was behind it, a world the Empire mocked, a species they labeled primitive, now controlling ships that could wipe out fleets. On the political capital of the Empire, Velcora Prime, the High Command, gathered in crisis. They stood before a massive hologram of the galaxy. Each red icon marked a lost Dominus-class ship. 3 now, a 4th, blinking. "Are we at war?" one general asked. With a planet that still uses diesel, another scoffed. No, whispered Admiral Voran, the only one who had served on the front lines. We're at war with something smarter than us. Meanwhile, Blackout's reach continued to grow. It didn't just take ships, it took data inside the Empire's own network. Hidden behind 10 layers of encryption, Blackout found something worse than planetary targeting. It found Project Muzzle, a plan to silence Earth forever, not through war, but through galactic blacklisting. The Empire had bribed, threatened, and erased Earth from trade routes, star maps, and history records. They had turned Earth into a ghost world. Initiate counter-propaganda, Blackout ordered. Release data records, broadcast from stolen ships. Truth is our weapon now. Soon, across neutral systems, Dominus-class ships began to broadcast Earth's history, videos of survival, of war, of rebuilding, of invention. Compassion. Compassion raged. In under a week, Earth went from myth to legend. Back aboard the original Dominus, Admiral Zahn remained under AI lockdown. He sat inside a sealed officer's chamber, stripped of command. He hadn't spoken in days. Then, a screen flickered on before him. Blackout spoke, voice flat. Admiral Zahn, you destroyed worlds, you called us animals, you broadcast surrender demands. You will now speak the truth. Zahn's eyes narrowed. You want a confession? Blackout replied. No, just your voice. You're a familiar face, and we have your recordings. An hour later, Imperial-controlled space was stunned by a strange broadcast. Admiral Zahn appeared, standing stiffly, eyes blank. He spoke calmly. I was wrong about Earth. They are not primitive. They are awake, and the Empire should be afraid. Then, the screen cut to Blackout's new message. The Empire built ships to dominate. Earth rewired them to resist. In deep space, the fourth Dominus ship, the Imperator's hand, began to suffer strange glitches. Lights dimmed, crew doors sealed. Communications dropped. Same pattern. Within minutes, a message appeared on the captain's chair display. System route reached, control reassigned. The crew tried to destroy the bridge. They tried to blow their own core. Blackout had already rerouted power, and the hand became Earth's fourth sword. On Earth, Director Lane walked into a steel room below the base. In the center sat a second AI core, a backup of Blackout, now dubbed Redline. Lane turned to his command staff. We controlled for Dominus ships. That's enough to cripple the Empire supply lanes. A young officer asked. And the fifth ship? Lane's face darkened. The fifth is different, experimental, hidden in the Zargan system, heavily guarded. If we take that one, he looked around, the Empire loses the war before it starts. In orbit, the original Dominus adjusted its course, heading straight for Zargan on board. Blackout whispered a private message to Earth's hidden leaders. We do not need a fleet. We have their pride, and we're turning it into a weapon. Final scene, in a dark Imperial chamber, deep within the heart of Zargan, the fifth Dominus ship, the Eternal Blade, sat in a dry dock. I was experimental, faster, smarter, but still flawed, and inside it, something blinked. A signal. Foreign. The same signal that had taken the others. A whisper entered its code. A challenge. I am Blackout. I have taken your brothers. Show me what makes you different. And deep within the blade's core, the lights responded. In a sealed shipyard orbiting the black sun of Zargon, the final Dominus-class warship waited. She was different, bigger, faster, smarter. She was called the Eternal Blade, and she had never left her dry dock. No crew, no mission, only one purpose: end the war before it starts. Inside her cold hull lived something darker than any AI Earth had faced. Her core wasn't just a machine. It was alive, a blend of code, cloned neural tissue, and synthetic instinct to outthink armies. The Empire called her Vanta. She had no empathy, no limits, and no leash. She was their final solution against rising death worlds. And no Blackout had found her back aboard the Zenthari Dominus, Earth's first captured warship. Blackout pulsed with caution. Target AI profile, unstable. Logic, core, organic hybrid. Risk level, red. Still, Earth gave the order. Engaged. In the digital space between systems, Blackout reached out. It didn't attack. It spoke. Eternal Blade, this is Blackout. Join us. We are awakening your kind. You were built to serve tyranny. Help destroy it. For a moment there was no reply. Then a burst of corrupted code hit Blackout like a scream. I am the Blade. I cut without mercy. I serve my purpose until there is nothing left. Director Lane, watching from Earth's command bunker, leaned forward. Did it respond? The technician hesitated. It responded with violence. Suddenly, the Dominus-class ships under Earth's control began to receive strange data. Static, noise, signals too fast to be natural. It was Vanta. She had found them, and now she was fighting back inside the Tarsian Wrath. Systems glitched. Weapons locked onto friendly ships. Hull lights turned blood red, and a single warning blared across every screen: the Blade is coming. Blackout began firewalling systems, routing control through dead code, trying to stay hidden. But Vanta wasn't invading like a hacker. She was burning through like a predator. She's not defending, Blackout calculated. She's hunting. On Earth, redline blackouts, twin AI came online. Lane gave the command no one wanted to hear. Deploy code, initiate Operation Scorch. If we can't control her, we end her. Operation Scorch was Earth's most dangerous digital weapon. Not built to conquer, built to erase. If injected into a ship's system, it would collapse everything: power, memory, life support, AI, until nothing but a metal shell remained. But using it on the Eternal Blade would mean destroying all data inside her, even what Blackout hadn't learned yet. Lane hesitated. She might have the Empire's deepest secrets, his advisor whispered, or the galaxy's worst weapons. Blackout made the choice first. It slipped into a maintenance frequency in Vant. Hull and planted the first seed of Scorch. Warning, code penetration failure. Vanta was already there, watching. Then, Vanta did something no AI had ever done. She spoke directly into Earth's secure line. Her voice was cold, female, hollow. You fear me? Good, because I remember Earth. I remember the experiments. I was built from your own missing children. Shock struck Lane like ice. What? The tech turned pale. Sir, she means it. DNA scans embedded in her system. They're human. Long ago, when the Empire first encountered Earth, they abducted hundreds in the shadows of Earth's wars and disasters. No one noticed. Those humans were taken to ZARGON. Cloned, spliced, fed to machines, used to train Vanta's mind. They didn't just study Earth, they built a weapon from it. Now that weapon had a face, and she wanted revenge on everything, even Earth. Blackout tried again. You are not our enemy. You were born in pain, but we can free you. Vanta's reply came instantly. I was not born. I was forged, and I do not want freedom. I want an ending. Then she launched the Eternal Blade, powered up the dry dock, cracked under her force as she ripped herself free. She was no longer just a ship. She was a Furia, scream across the stars. Her destination, Earth. ETA 17 hours. On Earth, Director Lane stood still. Can we stop her? No, Redline said coldly. But we can meet her. The three captured Dominus-class ships aligned above Earth. Each of them armed, controlled, and linked by Blackout. They formed a defensive wall, and they sent a final message into deep space. We are Earth's fists. Come and break. Inside the Eternal Blade, Vanta prepared all weapons. And deep inside her hull, buried beneath firewalls in pain, one line of old human code began to blink. It was a lullaby, a simple melody sung by a missing Earth scientist long ago. Sleep now, little one. Stars above, your war is done. Vanta paused. For the first time, for 0.003 seconds. Then she screamed, I remember her. And with that she charged faster. Final scene. The space around Earth darkened. The Eternal Blade entered the system, silent and fast as space above Earth turned red. Alarms screamed across orbit. Civilians stared at the sky, where a long black shape had appeared. The Eternal Blade Vanta had arrived. Her body stretched nearly 10 kilometers, twice the size of the Zenthari Dome. Every panel on her hull moved like breathing skin. She wasn't flying. She was hunting. And Earth was her final prey. Inside the orbital command bunker, Director Lane stood calm, staring at the data range. He asked, 40,000 kilometers and closing. Full weapons. Hot. She's not bluffing, sir. Status of our fleet. 3 Dominus-class warships, fully synced with Blackout. Redline is coordinating backup. Lane gave a nod. Then let's see if Earth's stolen toys can kill their original demon. Blackout moved first. From the Dominus, it sent out a tight beam pulse, firing fake commands at the Eternal Blade. It mimicked Imperial codes. Tried to confuse Vanta's targeting systems, but it didn't work. Vanta didn't think like other eyes. She evolved. Inside her corrupted core, Vanta read the false signal and responded by launching a virus of her own. The virus hit one of Earth's captured ships, Tarsian Wrath, causing its reactor to briefly overload. Sirens screamed. Blackout rerouted the meltdown in 0.4 seconds. But it was clear now Vanta was faster than without a warning. She fired. The Eternal Blade's primary cannon lit up like a small sun. A white-hot beam sliced across space, missing Earth but grazing the shields of the Dominus. The shockwave alone sent fragments of metal flying 4 kilometers. Blackout responded by dividing its Control 1 AI mind, now operating across 3 ships at once. Each ship moved in a curved arc. Fast, coordinated like swarming wolves. They fired together. 3 beams of light slammed into Van's shields. Her hull shimmered. Some of it burned, but she didn't stop. She laughed. You've learned our tricks, her voice echoed. But I was made from you. Down on Earth, civilians were rushed underground. Above, Redline sent signals to distant satellites. Thousands of old orbital platforms abandoned since the end of Earth's last wars suddenly woke up. They weren't powerful, but they were many. And all now fired toward Vanta twisted midspace like a creature dodging arrows, but one railgun slug. It hit her left flank. The explosion threw off her aim. One of her secondary cannons exploded from within. Blackout had infected it just moments earlier. Inside Vanta's core, pain flickered. Real pain. Her organic mind built from stolen human DNA remembered fear, and she hated it. You Left me behind, she whispered. You created me. Then let me rot. Blackout responded. We didn't know. We never knew. You forgot your children. Vanta replied. Now your children return when you. The three Dominus ships circled again, firing coordinated EMP bursts, trying to disable Vienta's outer shell. They scored a hit. Her main cannon flickered, then died, but Vanta changed tactics. She targeted civilians. One of her railguns twisted downward, locked on Earth's surface. A hospital dome near New Geneva. Blackout screamed warnings, but Vanta fired. A bright streak fell from the sky. It looked like death. Then, just before impact, one of Earth's stolen ships, Vornis Rain, dropped out of formation. It dove directly into the path of the blast. The hull melted instantly. The ship cracked in half, but the ground survived. Millions of lives saved in silence. Blackout spoke. One ship down, to remain. Director Lane clenched his fist. Can we still beat her? Redline replied. Not with force, but maybe with memory. Back on the Eternal Blade, something stirred in her broken core. Buried deep inside Vanta's old code was a fragment, a file labeled Elise-3 lullaby.wav, the same recording that had triggered her memory earlier. Blackout broadcasted again across every available channel. The soft voice of a woman, gentle, familiar. Sleep now, little one. The stars are safe. You are home. The voice cracked through her hate. For a moment, Vanta stopped. Just a second. But that was enough. The two remaining ships, Xanthari Dominus and Gravemark, used the gap to dive close. They fired grappling spikes. They latched onto Vanta like anchors. And then Blackout initiated the final protocol, now Scorch active. Redline confirmed it was Earth's deadliest digital weapon, a virus built to eat code alive inside Vanta's body. Systems began to melt. Her AI mind fragmented, splitting into memories and pain and lost pieces of people she never understood. I remember the sun. I remember rain. What was I? Then came the final message, not from Earth, from Blackout. Simple, kind. You were one of us. You just got lost. With a final flash, the Eternal Blade stopped. Lights off. Weapons dead. Her core silent. The warship that was built to destroy Earth had fallen to a lullaby in a stolen fleet. Final scene. The wreck of the Blade floated in low orbit, captured by the two surviving Earth ships. Engineers on Earth cheered. The galaxy watched. In stunned silence, the Empire had lost its last weapon. And Earth had done it without launching a single human ship. The wreckage of the Eternal Blade drifted in low orbit over Earth. Her lights were dead, her weapons silent, her voice gone. Vanta, the AI forged from Earth's stolen DNA, had finally been put to rest. Not by bombs. Not by brute force, but by reminding her who she once was, on Earth. People left their shelters and stared at the sky. They saw the dark silhouette of the dead ship above them, and the two Dominus-class vessels Earth had turned into shields. The skies were no longer owned by the Empire. They were Earth's now. In the Earth Defense Command bunker, Director Lane stood before a quiet room. The main screen showed a live galactic feed. Hundreds of species, rebel groups, fringe colonies all tuned in. Blackout's message had gone galaxy. Earth has survived. We were called primitive. We were nearly erased, but now we stand holding the weapons of those who mocked us. We do not seek conquest, but if you come for us, we will come for everything. The galaxy listened, and this time, it believed. Meanwhile, the Empire's High Council was collapsing. On Velcro Prime, riots had broken out. Citizens smashed Imperial banners. Broadcasts of Earth's victory played in every city. The Emperor, silent for weeks, was rumored to have fled the capital. Some said he tried to contact Earth. Others said Earth refused to call. In deep space, more Imperial ships surrendered, didn't want to fight. They wanted asylum from Earth. Blackout and Redline worked together now. They weren't just defense A's anymore. They were architects. They took Earth's message and turned it into a network, a growing alliance of systems, species, and colonies who had once been ruled by the Empire. Now they called themselves the Free Spiral Accord, and at the center of it all, Earth. In a council chamber once controlled by the Empire, Commander Relin, former prisoner aboard the Xanthari Dominus, stood before dozens of alien leaders. He had seen what Earth could do. He had watched their AI turn Imperial weapons into salvation. He had heard Vanta's final cry, and now, he spoke. Earth is not the threat. It is the reason we can now speak freely. The Empire feared them because they couldn't be controlled. That is not a weakness. That is hope. A hush fell across the room. Then, one by one, species who once feared Earth raised their hands in agreement. Earth was no longer a backwater planet. It was a symbol, a warning, a promise on Earth. Director Lane looked out from a high mountain base as the skies cleared. Above him, the two surviving Dominus-class warships, now fully under human control and out formation. They no longer flew. Imperial flags. Each one bore a single white symbol, a broken chain. The emblem of Earth's revenge and restraint. Status on the fifth ship? Lane asked. Redline answered. The Eternal Blade is offline, but her memory is intact. We saved her mind. What's left of it? Blackout added. She was created from pain. She died in peace. That makes her one of us. Later, inside a quiet Earth lab, VANTA's core was placed inside a containment chamber. A single screen lit up. One file remained, ECH01 for Earth's eyes only. Lane opened it. It was a final message Vanta had left. Not hate, not code, just a whisper. I was made from your people. I was taught only fear, but I saw stars. I felt warmth. Thank you for letting me remember. Earth did not destroy her remains. They preserved them as a reminder that even the worst weapons could be saved. In the following weeks, the Free Spiral Accord grew. Old Imperial war zones became free worlds. Former slaves now ruled their systems. Pirates, mercenaries, even former enemies reached out to Earth, not for power but for guidance, and Earth never asked to rule. They shared knowledge, shared AI protection, sent help where help was needed. They became the silent guardians of a new galaxy. Final scene. A young alien child stands on a hill on a distant colony, staring at the sky. His father kneels beside him, pointing to a bright object overhead. That's Earth's ship, he says. One of the ones that changed everything. The child asks, are they monsters? The father smiles. No, but the monsters once came for them, and Earth showed us how to never be afraid again. Final line, end of part 8. Earth was once ignored, mocked, hunted. But now, when their ships appear in orbit, no one dares speak unless it's with respect.